what's up you guys, this is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today we're getting all kinds of lit when we get Dressedtokill with the boy on fire himself, Nezha. Alright, so I'm gonna cut straight to the chase here. Nezha, much like Wukong, is probably one of the most basic frames to color, as neither of them are really all too flexible with their customizations. Unless of course you're okay with looking like a Skittle or some kind of swamp creature. And you know what, if that's the look that you're going for, then who am I to judge your life choices? Just know, you can't sit with us! Now with that said, I figured that I would actually flip the format on its head, showing you a couple quick tips on the base of the frame, then focusing on some of my favorite energy colors, because there is nobody better at lighting it up than our flaming prince. So his primary color determines his boots, bracers, head ornaments, and the trim on his torso that also frames his face. Now I've tried every color under the sun and I will not stand behind anything other than deep grays and near blacks. His secondary tone dictates the color on his tunic. Now, I suggest taking whatever energy color you decide using and select a more muted version to match. Feel free to go lighter and paler or darker and smokier. You can totally go for a bright if you want, but honestly, I prefer to leave the pop of color to the accent tones. For his tertiary color, I recommend an off-white. Not exactly white, but maybe half a step darker. I don't even bother with tonal variations as they tend to make him look like a pack of Smarties. I've also experimented with deeper tones, but honestly you lose almost all detail on his face, and I'm not having that. Now his accents are where it really starts to get interesting. Go for rich, gorgeous gem tones and saturated mid-tones. With the right set of supporting customizations, you can even toss in a full-bodied bright. However, before you go too crazy, keep in mind that at least in my opinion, the star of the show will be your energy color. Now, before I jump in, do note that his default set is a cool bi-tonal, appearing teal on the frame as well as when he uses Divine Spears. However, Firewalker, Blazing Chakram, and Warding Halo actually use a fiery orange. Now, let's start with the least interesting of the set, the neons. They are bright and bold and absolutely blinding, but they are quite fun. On the other end of the spectrum are these cool antique shades. These smoky gem tones create a unique and slightly ghostly effect. Switching it up, I thought I would toss in some brights. However, I went a little non-traditional as these tones appear a bit creamier than the standard. Now onto my favorite of the bunch, the multi-tonals. These hidden gems impart one color at their brightest but a different shade at their darkest. The only ones that I've been able to find are variations of a pale olive into a rusty orange, teal into a navy blue, and pinky gray into forest green. Strangely enough, they seem to be tied to some form of green. I don't know what it is, but if you all find any others, let me know and I'll give them a shot. Now, without further ado, let's get dressed. So all in all, Nezha is a bit limited when it comes to customization, with a lot of his look being dictated by his tertiary and accent tone. However, it can be argued that simplicity isn't always a bad thing, making it fairly easy for you to swap a couple tones to achieve a completely different look. But let's be real here. The absolute showstopper to any of his customizations is going to be the right energy color. So whether you go for something on the subtle side or prefer to be a little more in your face, Nezha is packing the right equipment to set your loins ablaze. So thank you all for watching another episode of Dressedtokill. If you haven't already caught it, be sure to check out my previous episode on the Loki Knave skin, as well as the Rhino Palatine skin. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay drop dead gorgeous. So when you're holding your shit, it's like you're holding a little baby hand on your hand. What a fucking freak, right? This is the kind of shit DK gets up to. This is why he can't be left alone for too long.